Howdy, everybody.
What's going on?
What's up, Muddy Ducks? Good to see y'all tonight.
Yep.
It's got cold here in South Carolina. We got rain and a lot of rain, and it's in like the 40s at night, and I don't know what happened in like a week, but
I don't know, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, this went from summer to fall to winter.
Yeah.
For our winter. What's up, Adam?
What up?
But anyway, glad y'all are with us. We got a list of questions folks have sent in, and if y'all want to chat with us,
yep,
we'll chat away. What's going on, Leon?
Well, we ain't heard from Leon in a while.
Where you been, Leon? I was telling somebody about you not long ago. They were wanting to Frankenbow something, and I was like, you need to get online and find Leon.
Yep.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah.
What kind of questions we got?
First one comes in from Bill. It says, can I send a video to y'all of me shooting for critique?
Sure.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, somebody sent one. Remember, somebody commented on something and said they had a Sandlita bow and was not getting a good group. And I was like, shit, well, it might have been last week on here. But anyway, they sent it. I need to look at it. But yes, absolutely. Send it. If you got something weird going on, we can tell what's going on. I'd say if you send us a video, we kind of need we don't really need it on the ground because people have sent that before and it's hard to see. Sort of if you can get it like chest level, if you shooting front and back, and even potentially have somebody hold it over the back of your head so we can kind of see alignment stuff. But yeah, shoot it. Yeah. Shoot it away. Archeryshack@gmail.com. We'll get you figured out.
The next one I got comes in for Arthur. He says, best Christmas bow for my 9-year-old son. You can go a couple different routes. The Sandlita bows would be a good one.
Yep.
Especially, if you don't think he might stick with it. Bear Royale would be a good one. I probably wouldn't say legit just yet, but you could go to a Bear legit route. I mean, that'd be the three I'd go look at.
Yeah, I mean, any of the mission bows, diamond bows, there's all kind of ways you could go. What's up, KJ? Dean? Samuel, all kind of people's popping up. Devin shooting at the bowman.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Larry gets in and says, I keep seeing posts about an ATA show on Facebook. Can you guys explain what that is? The ATA is called the Archery Trade Association. What it is it's pretty much a organization where all the bow manufacturers meet once a year for a few days, and it's a dealer only, kind of like an outdoor show. But it's dealer only, so unless you work for a shop and they invite you or you're a dealer, you can attend. But it's pretty much we go and, get to handle all the new stuff. New bows, new sights, and stuff like that. How long have they been doing the ATA? It's been a while. Yeah,
so it started as the AMO show, the Archery Merchants Organization, back in the 90s, I believe. And then it switched to ATA early 2000s, so it's been around for quite a while now. But it started really small, and now it's, I think in 01 or 02 it switched to ATA. But anyway, for dealers it's been good, but now a lot of people are backing out this year because of COVID and all, and I think people are seeing with the digital age we're in, is it even necessary to go do that? And for us, the answer is really no. We just like to handle all the products, stuff we don't even carry, and be able to report back, hey, we shot the XYZ bow or release or sight or whatever, and here's what we thought about it. So,
and, potentially we, if we found something that we thought that we liked and there's a big hype about, we could actually pick it up and carry it in the shop.
Yeah.
That we might not have got a chance to because we're not a dealer for them.
That's how we ended up with prime bows and those big shot targets we sell so many of, and that's all came from us testing it there and being like, this is a good product.
Yeah.
What's up, Bruce?
What up? Let's see. Zach wants to know who's the next bow company to fold.
I don't know. It was weird because pre-COVID, that's when we lost Parker, New Breed. I'm missing another one. Pearson.
And Pearson, the year that the last year they was at the ATA show, they had some good shooting bows.
I have new strings by Threads coming in from a Bowtech Revolt. I have the deadlock cams. Do I have to take off the cams? No, you shouldn't have to. Shouldn't have to. You'll like Threads is Jerry and Margie. They're good people. They're real good people.
But who's the next one to fold? I'm surprised, like, as far as crossbow wise, I'm surprised Barnett ain't one out.
Well, they're so big though, you know.
Yeah.
What I mean? They got big money. I was trying to think of a smaller company. I mean,
Expedition,
Athens, and I'm not saying they're going to fold. I'm just saying smaller companies out there. They're kind of the smallest that I can just off the top of my head think of. There's probably other ones, but
what about APA?
They're Canadian, but they've been around a little while. I don't think they'll go. I mean, I don't know much about Athens. I've shot their stuff. Some of them I really like, some of them I don't. But I think they make parts for other companies, and I don't think Bose is like their bread and butter. So I don't guess they'll go anywhere. But you never know. And the Expedition got bought out by some bigger company.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like you look at Obsession and Martin, and they've merged. That makes them a little stronger. So I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know.
Let's see here. Harold gets in, any tips to keep archery fun, interesting during the off season?
I guess meet up with some buddies and shoot. Yeah, it's according to where you live at, indoor or 3D or whatever, even if it ain't tournament season or whatever. I guess that's what you mean, off season. But it does get boring, and like around here, we don't get really cold, like, but it just kind of we got hunting season going on, which is fine, but as far as the tournament side of stuff, it's kind of boring from now to about January for us. But we'll occasionally go shoot some indoor, or even we got a couple 3D ranges we can go to. Yeah, he said Bowtech Elite, Hoyt Matthews, and PSC. I hadn't heard PSC pulled out yet.
I hadn't either.
Was that a today announcement? I hadn't looked at anything today. I think more and more people are going to pull for a couple reasons. One, I think most of these companies have figured out they can save $250,000 and not go and get the same sales. Two, they're probably worried about a bunch of their workers getting COVID, so I don't know.
I hadn't heard that about PSC yet.
I hadn't either.
Let's see here. That was Harold. Alex says, thanks for the broadhead videos. Can I send a pack for you guys to test?
Yeah. What we've been telling people, so we're going to do 2 more weeks. That'll put us at 6 weeks of this second little round of broadhead tests. And then we've already got a bunch of broadheads people sent in, but they're not new in the package. And we want to use them, but I also don't want to put out like that it's a brand new broadhead just in case maybe it's dull or whatever because, we didn't open it up new. So we're going to do one big video of a bunch of broadheads and just put a big disclaimer, hey, these were sent in. Obviously, they hadn't really been shot, but they hadn't been new in the package, and they could have rubbed each other. Who knows? So anyway, but yeah, if you, we've had a couple people ask us this, and I've just said, we'd be happy to do one of our main videos, but we need them new in the pack so that we can make sure, they're legit, and we don't want to. We don't want somebody to have shot them 2 or 3 times practicing with them into a foam block and dulled them down and us be sitting there telling people they're dull. So anyway, we can go that route, or if you want to add them, if you got some out of the pack and you want to add them to our big video here in 2 or 3 weeks, we can do that too. But yeah. Just send them on and we'll test anything.
Let's see. Henry gets in and says, how do you guys not get burnt out with archery? We've been burnt out before. It's kind of a two-edged sword because we do it every day. We're around it every day. We got somebody rolling up.
It's probably Freddie.
I'll
be right back.
So as far as getting burned out, we doing it every day. It's hard for like me personally to shoot my bow. When I get home in the evening, that's probably the last thing I want to do is pick up my bow. From just messing with bows day in and day out, so it does suck. But probably mid 2000s, me and Jeremy both. There was about every weekend we were, shooting somewhere at some tournament, and it got to the point where, it's hard to beat a pencil in people, little pencil pushers, and we just got burned out. And I think we took like a 10-year break from tournaments. I mean, we still bow hunted, and I mean, we kind of quit working on bows altogether, except for like our stuff and, you know, just a couple friends stuff. So it's easy to get burnt out on it, but, you know, it's one of those that I enjoy it so much that you just kind of have to balance it out. Like I said, it's a two-edged sword there, Henry. Let's see here. Let me get my screen moved over. In theory, this comes in from David. It says, in theory, couldn't these companies release a 50 to 60% let-off bow and get closer to the 400 feet per second IBO mark? They could, and they'd have to run a short brace height, but you know, you're not going to want to, if you're running 70 pounds, you're not going to want to be holding that much weight back deer hunting. Now, tournament people, they like that, you know, 65% let off, but as far as deer hunting, no, nobody's going to want that. They're going to want that higher let off where they can hold it. I think right now Obsession was probably one of the latest here in the last couple of years. They had that Lawless, I think it was 370 feet per second IBO. PSE had the full throttle, that was 380, I think, if I want to remember right, but it could have been 350 to 380 on it. I can't remember the exact number. I think that bow companies have kind of hit a wall, because I said a couple years ago, if you go back and look at videos, who was going to be the first bow company to hit 400 feet per second out of a compound. And I still think that's probably the next step, is who can do it. But I'm not, you know, I'm not 100% on who. You're getting into a lot more comfort. What's going on, DLR? The Limitless. I don't have the spec on that one right in front of me. If I remember right, I can't remember. I might holler at Jeremy and tell him to bring the book in there, because I know the bow, but I can't remember the specs on it. Darren, we appreciate it. Let's see here. Jeremy had to walk out and try to catch somebody, so I'm going back through questions. Has anybody shot any deer here lately? I know I've been seeing a lot of people post in a lot of Facebook groups that I'm in, like in the upstate South Carolina, that the bucks are pretty much moving around pretty good, but I hadn't been in the woods here lately, so I couldn't tell you. Okay, Zach. The only thing with that, you know, it's going to max out at 50 pounds, which, you know, is not a bad thing. Ted Nugent's killing deer with 45 pounds. The only thing with the Limitless is if you are going, you know, if you got a longer draw length, you're not going to be able to achieve it. I can't remember what price point that bow is. But if you're thinking you're going to want to go more above 50, you may want to look at the Bear Legit. But just, you know, if you're comfortable with that 50 pounds, and, you know, if your draw length is in that range, then, you know, hey, I hadn't shot it, so we hadn't shot the Limitless, have we? I don't think I have.
I don't think so. You on? Yeah, you on?
Yeah, I'm on here.
Okay.
So.
Let's see. Finder China. Thank you, Darren. We're slowly getting out there. I slowed down a little bit on videos, but we're still dumping out several a week. So I'm just trying to get some all kind of junk out there.
Yeah, that Species EV would be a great bow.
I'm excited about that bow. Last year we sold bunch of regular older species, and now they got a redesigned cam, and it looks cooler and some different colors. And pretty much any day now, I should be getting a shipping notification that they're on the way. And I think we got like 54 total bears on the way and all this stuff. So
I couldn't remember how many we had.
Last year, what's up? What's up, Dixie? Last year it only took them a couple weeks to get here, so I'm thinking any day now. We just ordered them last week, so we should be getting shipping.
Stephanie gets in with, I've heard of flight shooting. Do you guys know any info on
it? Yeah. It's popular in the United States. It's popular out west. And what that is, I'm sure you know what it is, but some other people may not. They have different classes, just like with a tournament, but it's how far you can get your arrow to go. So, I mean, they've got them to where, like, the bow mounts to the feet, and you pulling back like 100, 200, 300, whatever pounds, and letting it go. I don't remember the record, but, I mean, I think arrows have made it a mile or a long way. So, we've never done it. It's not popular around here. I don't even know where we would go do it, but I've read up on it before and thought that'd be neat to see.
I've went over this one, but get your thoughts. David got in theory, couldn't these companies release a 50, 60 pound let-off bow and get closer to 400 feet per second, IBO mark?
I think that's honestly not a bad idea. They ought to take some of these bows that are already doing like 360 and 370, put them at, because that's what Matthews did with like the Black Max. You know, they bumped it down to like a 60% let-off. They could just do it knowing, they need to tell people, though, this is 50% let off. It shoots rough. Mm-hmm. But they could probably, I bet they could get 400 feet per second. You know what I mean?
Well, the big drawback to that, like I was telling him, was, you're not going to want to shoot that for deer hunting. I mean, that's going to be kind of rough.
Yeah, but, I mean, it could at least put somebody over that mark, you know what I mean? And be like, we've made the 400 feet per second bow.
Yeah. Jason gets in and says, we need more 3D video from you guys. Any 3D shoot videos planned in the near future?
No. We have been talking about, we got about an hour away. There's we got 2 or 3 places we could go, but there's a state park that has a nice 3D range we've been talking about going to, but we hadn't really set a date or time or nothing. And then Kiwi Bowman keeps some 3D targets out. We'll see what we can come up with sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in our 3D season don't kick off till middle January, early January.
Yeah.
Mike gets in with, why don't bow companies send you guys bows to review and make videos on? I'm in the technology world, but it seems like they would want channels like us to review new release products. Compared to my area of business, archery companies seem a lot more standoffish for some reason.
I kind of agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of into camera stuff and that sort of thing, and I notice a lot of channels get cameras to review and then they of course send them back. But I think archery as a whole is just weird. It's just they don't really do that. I don't know of anybody that's not sponsored that does that. But 2, I think one strike against us is we're an actual shop, so like we're not a Matthews dealer or Bowtech dealer or whatever, so I doubt they would send us one of their bows knowing we can't sell them. But you know what I mean? Maybe if we were just a review channel, and then I mean that's probably the main thing, you know what I mean? So that's one thing. It's hard to people, like I did that quick little V3 video last night with Bobby's bow, and I was hesitant to do it because I know the phone's going to start ringing and people's going to want a V3. I seen you on YouTube, I need a V3, and I tried to say in there, hey, we're not a Matthews dealer, but people ask about this bow, and I like Matthews, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just we can't have a dealership because we're too close to another dealership, which is fine, that's the rules, but anyway, I think all that plays into it, but it would be nice if, they would say, hey, we're going to send you a bow for a week to play with, throw a video up, and send it back to us. That would be neat, but that's not really how it works.
I mean, we've only had a couple companies reach out to us and say, hey, we're going to send you something to test.
I wish some of these broadhead companies, and it's probably my fault because I hadn't exactly reached out to them, and major props to DRT because they seen our video. sent us a handwritten letter. Thank you. We love the video y'all made and all this stuff. And
Tooth of the Air did the same thing. They reached out, sent us, those.
But all these broadheads I'm paying for out of pocket to test them, and I don't mind doing that. But as far as like money from YouTube, I think we added it up, and it was like half a cent per view. I mean, it's nothing, you know what I mean? And I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. I really like doing this stuff, but I told TJ the other day, I was like, at some point the broadheads is going to get pricey. Because every week it's a $30 or $40 or $50 pack of broadheads we're shooting into an iron buck. But like I say, I'm not complaining. I like doing it. But I wish some of these companies, in particular, like a broadhead company, would be like, hey, and we're hoping if the ATA does happen, I'm going to be like, here's some of our numbers. I know we don't have like huge numbers, but here's some tests we've done. Would you be interested in letting us take a pack of these broadheads and test them? And we'll send you the video and all. And I'm hoping that works and we get some freebies, but we'll see.
Yep.
What's your favorite brand of bows to shoot for hunting? I don't know. I mean, we shoot prime right now, but we're not brand specific people. You know what I mean? Like, we've shot Bear, we've shot Matthews, we've shot Prime, we've shot PSE or whatever.
Obsession.
Obsession.
Good Lord.
So right now we're shooting Prime, but we're not like, I don't ever want to be one of those shops. It's like, if you don't shoot Prime, then we're not dealing with you or whatever. It's not that way at all.
No, it ain't. Let's see. Will gets in and says, are there any compound finger shooters left?
Not really. I mean, if I even was talking to somebody about a bow to do that with, the only bow I can think of off the top of my head right now, Matthews still is offering the Conquest 4, and they make a cam called a super soft cam that's like, I think 60% let off, but it's real spongy, and that Conquest is like 41 inches long, and it would work. I'd be scared to shoot some of these little short bows with my fingers because you'd derail it. But I don't know. We used to have a local guy that shot that way, and I hadn't seen or heard from him in quite some time.
I hadn't
but
either.
I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't know of anybody.
Neil gets in and says, what's the cost to get into trad archery? Traditional archery.
You get in for probably $200. I mean, you get in cheaper if you could find some like used stuff, but you get you a Samick Sage and 6 arrows and a glove and that sort of thing, and be around that $200 mark. And it's a lot of fun, and Sage is not a bad bow.
Nope, sure ain't. Let's see. Ben gets in and says, do all bow companies offer some sort of warranty?
For the most part, I'm trying to think of anybody that don't. But what we've seen lately, and it's weird, is I'm not throwing them under the bus, but I'm just telling you what happened to us. PSE, they offer a lifetime warranty. We had a Brood X come in with a cam that had a piece chipped off of it, And the Brood X is about 10 years old. We called them. They said, we don't have any cams, and we're not going to make any cams. Sorry. And that was the first time I ever had that happen. So we called around. The rep called a bunch of dealers that's been around with PSC trying to find a cam, and ultimately didn't find the guy a cam. So I don't know how that works legally. Like, most of these companies say lifetime warranty, but at what point do they quit making parts? And usually it was 10, 15 years, but this bow's kind of in that 10-year range. And I've seen other talk from dealers that maybe with all the COVID stuff that's happened and all that, they're not making as many backup parts as used to. So I don't know. But most of them have a warranty. Most of them is lifetime to the original owner. And I know used to, some companies would say, all right, this bow's out of the date range. We'll give you a credit towards another bow or something like that. But I don't know what the answer is on an older bow. I mean, that's the first time we've ever run into it. And I even told TJ the other day, Prime offers free strings for life every 2 years when you buy a Prime bow, but at what point do they cut that off? You know what I mean? Because at some point they're going to be making so many strings trying to keep up with older bows. There's going to have to be a cutoff. At least I think. I don't know. Maybe, it's to the original owner. They do verify the serial number and the owner and all that stuff. So maybe enough people don't want them. I don't know. But
I'm seeing right now a lot of companies, instead of lifetime warranty, they're putting limited lifetime warranty. So You know, now granted, if a limb cracks or something screwed, you know, something riser's warped for some odd reason, a warped riser they're going to be kind of iffy on because you know you could technically have cause from a dry fire. But like a limb crack or something like that, they're going to cover you. But you know, I just wonder what they're going to start considering under that limited lifetime.
I feel
warranty.
like they ought to be like 10-year warranty, 20-year warranty.
Yeah.
But I guess it's more or less just as long as they got parts or can make parts. I don't know.
And then the last one I've got comes in from Jeff. He said, just a random question. How long has the compound bow been around?
I hadn't thought about that in a long time.
Me
so, Mr. Allen, let me think. Horace Allen made the first compound bow in Kansas City, Missouri in 1966. It was patented in 69, I think I'm telling it right. And then it really didn't take off, believe it or not. It was a low let off. It had 2 cams, but it had all these wheels that steel cables hooked to and stuff. It's worth Googling. I'd get it down, but it'd be a pain. But we've got an old bear hanging over here. That's kind of what I'm talking about. But anyway, so patented in 69. Then he teamed up with old Tom Jennings, and I still can't believe Jennings went out of business, but they sort of, in the early 2000s, they sort of merged into the big corporate group that is now Bear. But Tom Jennings is sort of the marketing guy that was wanting to get his name out there. So I think from what I remember and understand, him and Mr. Allen got together and really started pushing some bows out through the 70s. And then, you know, of your oldest bow companies, which was Jennings, Allen, PSE, Martin, Ben Pearson, you know, PSE is really the only one that's been still around, you know, been there for like 50 years. So anyway, early 70s, very late 60s, early 70s is when the compound bow started. From what I understand, most people thought it was a big gimmick and would never catch on and all that. And it was really into the 70s before people, I think, started paying much attention to them. And then, so Allen, the company's still around. I don't know if it's still I doubt it is still in that family. Mr. Allen died in like the late 70s in like a car wreck, so he never got to see the whole thing come to play. But yeah, the original compound bow was an Allen, Allen. I think it was called the Brown Hunter. You can look all this up on Google and they'll have pictures and stuff, but I think they called it the Brown Hunter. I would love to have one. And then, you know, you get into all this. The first solo cam bow, actually, Martin made it, and it looks like a recurve with a cam on the bottom. So it still had a little let off, but because that cam rotated on the bottom and was just hooked to a limb on top, your knock travel was crazy. You know what I mean? So it didn't really work out. And then Matthews, of course, in '91, did the whole solo cam thing, and that was huge for about 15, 20 years.
Oh man!
And then they kind of maxed out on speed, and that'd be some neat videos to make if I could find pictures to put with them. Some history of the bow videos of the modern bow. Anyway, but yeah, late 60s, early 70s, and then it just took off from there.
Brian says, does Prime have a shot count on their string warranty? If they're estimating shoots 5,000 shots in 2 years, what did they do? Person shooting 20,000.
They don't. It's just 2 years. Like we've tried to. Well, we didn't know any better, but people's brought in bows and says, it's my 2 years, and we call it in, and they'd be like, nope, they got another month or 2 months or whatever. So it's just the 2 year mark is their way they do it. I still, Brian, I still have my Feather Max from '97. Still actually hanging right there, and there's a couple bows I'd really like to have for historical purposes. One is the original Allen Brown Hunter. 2, I'd like to have the first Matthews bow. And 3, I'd love to have that Martin Dynabow, that first solo cam bow that they tried to make. But I hadn't done a whole lot of digging and looking for them. I could probably slowly find at least some of those, but I wouldn't mind having those just hanging. We've got a couple bows I've started hanging in the hallway. One's an old Bear bow from the 70s, and I got my first Matthews. I got my dad's first compound. I got some stuff hanging up, but I wouldn't mind adding a few to the.
Samuel says he's got a Brown and Cobra that was his grandpa's one-piece wood riser and limbs. I've actually got one in the building, but one of the little cups under the limb bolt broke off of it because it wasn't nothing but plastic, so it's probably shot all to pieces.
Yeah, and that, the original compounds were wood made, and then they switched to the fiberglass sort of composite. I think Tom Jennings did that in the 70s, and Jennings was, I'm sure if you're a little older, Jennings was huge 70s through really the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And then early 2000s-ish, Fred Bear, they were two separate companies to begin with, and Jennings all kind of merged together.
Yep.
But
Oneida bows were wild. Yep.
I remember in the 90s when the Oneida was the stuff. I mean,
yeah.
If we could find enough used ones, there's all kind of bow fishing people that still want them. But they, I talked to them at the show one year, and man, a new one was as much as a new.
Yeah.
They were looking at over $1,000 for a new one, and I was like, woo.
Devin, we've heard that same rumor, but we haven't heard anything. So I've heard the rumor that they're going to go that they were steering away from the dual track cam. I don't see them going away from that because that's what they've kind of built off of the last, 10, 15 years?
Yep. Leon said an Oneida was his first bow. We hadn't had one come through in we used to have one or two come through a year. I don't think in the past year we've had one come through.
I've had a couple come through.
Did you?
Yeah.
Got a Barnett Safari. If I'm not mistaken, that Allen Brown Hunter, the first compound bow, sold for like $179 or $159 or something like that. I've looked at old ads before, but yeah, there's some funny old ads out there too. Wasn't it Bear? Bear put an ad in Playboy with a naked woman holding one of their bows.
Was that? Oh, I thought that was Martin.
Maybe it was Martin. No, I think it was Bear. I can't remember.
It was one of the two.
Google it, and don't get in trouble. But if you Google Playboy archery ad, it's from the 70s. I think it's funny. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much stuff. And then, to me, I feel like archery exploded in the 80s. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff made in the 80s that was cool and big, and PSC has so many patents through the 80s that's huge. And then just personally, or maybe around here, I feel like maybe late 90s-ish, there was sort of a little lull. I feel like Matthews had a big push for a boom mid-90s into the late 90s, and then it was kind of whatever, and then it's just back and forth. But
Bear in 1974 was when they did the ad in Playboy.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, it's just funny how things have changed. You know what I mean? That's what's used to. We'd still have. Well, I say used to. We've been involved in archery longer than in my head. 20 years ago is 1970. You know what I mean? But used to, we'd still have a lot of older bear. Like whitetail hunter twos and this, that, and other come through. But really, I guess we haven't had any of them in quite some time. Oh, I forgot about Golden Eagle.
Yep.
I don't know why they went out of business. What was the company that Bowtech came from? The Oregon. Was it Oregon Bow? Hang on. What company did Bowtech start from or buy out? Was it the Oregon Bow Company? If I'm not mistaken, that's right. And they made a speed bow, and it blew up so many limbs, from what I've heard, that they had to go out of business. But I think I'm telling you right. But yeah, Golden Eagle, man. I used to work on a ton of Golden Eagles, and now we rarely see one. But
every now and then we'll have one come in.
I wonder, is archery, there was a website like archeryhistory.com, and I think it was affiliated with Archery Talk. It may still be around. I need to go look. Y'all got me thinking about all this old stuff now. I like the old history stuff. Yeah, Darton was one of the first bow companies. Rex. Rex is, I think, in his 90s now, or late 80s, but he's one of the sleepers that you don't hear a whole lot about, but he's done a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. I think, if I remember right, I've looked back on their string chart, and I think it goes all the way back to 1980 on a string chart.
Yeah. Yeah, and High Country, I forgot. We sold High Country back in early 2000s at Bucks and Bass, and then, you know, they were a big, big thing back in the 90s. I don't know if I'm still friends with Nathan on Facebook or not, but they actually had a Greyhound bus they had bought just to take their shooters from shoot to shoot, you know, and they were, I think John Dudley started with the High Country, matter of fact. But
I think so.
Yeah, a vintage archery shoot would be cool. Like, nothing past whatever, 1990 or not, you know, whatever year. It'd be like everything's got to be from the 80s and before, or 70s or whatever. That would be neat.
Yeah, it would.
But y'all keep TJ's grandma in your thoughts and prayers. She's on the ventilator. Hopefully we're praying that she'll pull through.
Yep.
So be thinking about them. And in the shop, we're just kind of getting in that before Thanksgiving, Christmas time. We still got some bows to tinker with and stuff, a lot of strings to make, but kind of getting a sort of a breather for a minute.
Yeah.
Before Christmas rush, and these bear bows will be coming in soon. That's gonna bring in some people, but
we should do a video of when the 18-wheeler shows up and us running around.
Used to it was just targets, but now some of our bigger orders they send on an 18-wheeler, and the road that comes to the shop, you ain't definitely gonna get an 18-wheeler on, and we're just a 2-lane road out front, so he parks way out in front of the shop, and we have to take our trucks and back out there and load from 18-wheeler to truck, pull a truck down, another truck down, another truck down, and it blocks. Cars can get by, but cars are bad about flying down this road.
Oh, Lord, man, what are you talking about?
And there's an 18-wheeler blocking, but yeah, it's always interesting. And sometimes they give us a heads up that they're coming. Sometimes we just hear bonk, bonk, and it's like, run.
Run, grab truck, throw coolers and whatever else is in the back of the truck out, and go haul some bows in.
Yep. But anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, our road's crazy. People fly down this little road. I mean, I don't know why, but I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll get off here.
Yep.
Thank y'all for chatting with us. We'll be back next week. Got a couple videos. What broadheads we doing this week?
The SICK F2 is the 2-blade expandable. We'll be doing it this week, and
we'll do an in the shop video Saturday most likely, and all that.
Yep.
And then somebody was wanting me to do a Amazon bow comparison of that plastic bow versus the San Lita. I don't know when I'll get it done, but I'll do it in the next few days. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in.
Yep.
Let us know any questions you got. You can put them in the comments here. We'll look back, or you can email them to archershack@gmail.com. Or however you want to send them in. We kind of go through them every week, and that's where we pull them from.
Yep.
But yeah, y'all have a good evening, if it's evening where you are. And
yeah, it's about supper time.
Yep. About time to eat.
Yep.